nonsense down. And I don't know if that's going to have a long-lasting impact or if it's just something that's momentary. But you know what? We'll see what happens with it. Right now I consider that brother to be lost. I say until he finds his voice and kind of gets back to where he needs to be, he's going to continue to remain lost as far as I'm concerned. That's a damn shame too, man. Because I got to cancel half of that. Because half of that shit he puts out, and some of it was banging though on that new album. I ain't even gonna lie, man.
I was gonna ask you, you copping the album?
Yeah, I listened to a couple of tracks on it, but then I was up to like, you know what? I said, I can't do all this shit. I'm up here bashing this man, but I'm up to like, but a couple of them tracks is bangers though. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was like, well, it's good.
and you know what? No, you honestly hit on another excellent point. We just both said, Kanye done dropped some shit that we both enjoy, we like, but that's the artistry Kanye, not this political or real Kanye. So we also are in an age now where we're seeing a lot of our celebrities, white or black, being caught up in this Me Too movement or caught up in other hot scandals. The R. Kelly shit, he's put out bangers for years and years and years.
Piper. Man,
that's a different damn story. But my question is, because like I said, you kind of led us right to this. How do you separate the art from the artist?
It's really hard to do so, and I take this to like one of the biggest examples with Bill Cosby, and everything that he got caught up in. Now, for those of a certain age, we grew up with Bill Cosby, Cosby Show, Different World. For those who are a little bit older, Fat Albert, man, I Spy, it's one of those, he's been a fabric of our lives there all the way through. And so when all of this stuff started coming out about him and you looking at it and you're like, what the hell? Part of it is, initially you have a little bit of denial about it. It's like, there's no way that he could possibly do this. This isn't what's been presented.
Heathcliff fucking Huxtable, no way.
Exactly. And and not just with him, with R. Kelly, it's kind of like, man, he's putting out all this great music. How could he possibly be like that? And now, you know what? And even just recently, Morgan Freeman.
Lord, that's why he wanted to keep them damn chains on the doors and lean on me. Damn, Morgan. Damn you.
Man, Joe Clark. Damn. You're just kind of looking at all this stuff, and it seems like it's coming out about everybody. And, and I don't know what that says. Does that say more about them as men, or does that say more about the generation in which they grew up where it was okay for stuff like that to go down and nobody said anything? And now with the Me Too movement, now women are encouraged and now women are being supported, and now a lot of these stories are coming out. And it's affecting a lot of folks from everywhere. You just saw Harvey Weinstein. He just did the perp walk today.
Yeah, he did.
Tom Brokaw had allegations against him. Tom Brokaw, really? Man, Matt Lauer.
It's been people you expected. Not expected, and and the list continues to grow and grow. But like I said,
45.
He's never had credibility, in my opinion. But again, it kind of goes back to these people. You've named some prolific people who've had, no matter what the industry is, hits or great shows or killer interviews and broadcasts that we love and adore. Do we just throw that all the way now since this stuff is coming to light about their personal lives?
Yeah, it's really hard. I think for a lot of folks, and I'll just speak for myself on it, I think it's been very hard to do so, and particularly with Bill Cosby and some of the stuff that he's done, from a philanthropic standpoint and also just from an entertainment standpoint, and knowing how many people he's actually helped in real life, it's very hard to separate that. I'm still I was always more of a fan of A Different World than The Cosby Show. A Different World, for a lot of folks our age, it was, hell, we wanted to go to Hillman. We wanted to go and do all this stuff, man. We wanted to go to the pit, man. We wanted, when I went to college, I went to UT. I was so fucking disappointed. I was up there like, man, I should have went to an HBCU. What the fuck am I doing up here, man? I was disappointed this shit. There wasn't no Mr. Gaines, man.
You were in a different world.
You damn different world indeed. So, I guess from that standpoint, I feel like I can still enjoy the art. I can still enjoy the media. But the respect for those individuals who have done these things, I don't have that anymore because, wrong is wrong. And I mean, no matter how much you admire their work and how much they've impacted society from a positive standpoint, when you start reading stuff about these folks and what they've done, it changes your opinion on them. You can't really think of them the same way that you did before. Now it's just kind of like, damn, homie, for real. Yeah, but part of it, and I'm not going to lie to you, it's hypocritical because if you still support, the mediums that they produce, I mean, whether it's TV, film, music, whatever it may be, if you're still supporting that, there's probably going to be some hypocrisy behind that. And, for me, I feel conflicted because, not only did I watch a different world, but, I let them watch a different world, and they always kind of get on me and they say, oh man, this is old, this is back in your day. And, to me, the early 90s might as well have been like a couple of years ago. That's kind of how I think of it. But, yeah, it's really hard to do. And I think if you are a fan, you're going to end up loving the music, and it's a lot harder to turn it off than what people believe, there's a lot of folks who are still going to listen to R. Kelly. There's people will still support R. Kelly no matter what. Even if he went to jail, and truth be told, we all know that he should have, because look, peeing on girl. Look, if Chappelle don't made a whole skit about you and all this stuff, I mean, that's what he became famous for. Remember the pee on you skit?
I remember.
I'm gonna piss on you.
I remember.
Yes, I do. I really do.
Damn, I remember the song.
I mean, shit. That was one of my favorite skits, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Man, he did bring it out. Yeah. I have to say, too, in college, I did see the infamous video, and the shit I saw, it wasn't even sexy in a good way. It was just disgusting. You know what I'm saying? You can see the innocence in that girl's face, and how he's talking to her and stuff like that. But
I couldn't even watch it, man.
Yeah, I don't know. It's hard. Like I say, you can't take away the great body of music that he's wrote and produced and hits and strings like that. But also came to light that he sat down with Wendy Williams behind closed doors, and he disclosed to her that he couldn't read or write. He didn't know that shit. So,
whoa, what?
Yeah, he told her he don't know how to read and write.
Oh,
he got through the public school system. Now, y'all can fact check me. I'm not sure if he graduated high school or got his GED, but I know he said he slid through his educational experience based off sports, playing basketball. But he said, and I've heard other people say they've heard that rumor for years. Wow. But yeah, he told Wendy Williams he don't know how to read and write.
Still to this day.
He told her this maybe sometime last month.
God.
And Wendy Williams can't hold water. She gonna tell anything anyway. And so that was one of the startling facts that came out of the interview. And I think he told her some more shit, but of course she can't. She's gonna be salacious about it and wait till she can release and drop, the interview in its entirety. But that's one of the big alarming things, that he can't read or write.
Wow.
So I don't know. I'm baffled. I can believe, there has been a time where our young black athletes get a free ride because of their athletic prowess, but with the R. Kelly shit, I don't care if you illiterate, you can read or write. You know right from wrong. Mm-hmm. You might can't recognize it on paper, the words, but you know what's morally right and what's morally wrong. Going back to Bill Cosby, I thought he was, and this is, I guess, growing up, I was naive and young. He had all them education credentials and degrees. I'm like, shit, Bill Cosby, he done got all these degrees and shit. But he done had all these damn degrees and honorary degrees stripped from him. Yes, shit, I forgot what school he graduated from.
Yeah, I think he is a Temple alum. But
they let him keep his degree?
Well, not the honorary ones, but I think he actually does have a doctorate in education, though. I think he is an EDD.
That he actually put the work to get.
Okay. Mm-hmm. I think he had
they
that.
Can't take that away.
Yeah, but it's kind of like even down in Atlanta, I think Spelman and Morehouse, I think they stripped him of his honorary degrees, but they did keep the money though.
Hell yeah. Sorry. You know how much money, all that money he put in them schools, that's Jell-O and bad sweaters for a nation of Africa.
Damn.
I'm sorry.
Oh Lord, man! I really hate to see all that because there's going to be some more names behind.
Oh yeah,
Look now, if somebody comes up and says Theo's been doing something.
Theo Huxtable?
Yeah, I got to cancel cable if that happens, man. Cause
got it from his daddy or his TV dad, but I hope that ain't the case. I'm just hoping and praying, some of the big, there are no other major shoes drop. Morgan Freeman, that was a big deal. Mm-hmm. He's looked the same in every role. He hadn't aged since, he looked the same age now as he did in Lean On Me, so there's not a big difference there. But he's
dying by the thousands, dying for you, fool.
You better record it now because you ain't gonna be hearing no more advertisements or narrations from him for a while. Now he did come out and apologize, and so when you apologize, that's pretty much admitting that you're wrong for what you did. And I think it was the last count, and I'm pretty sure the numbers have probably grown since I last looked at it. I think it was like 8 different women.
At least, yeah. It'll probably be about 15 by the time we get done with this show. But
shit, I'm scared to look and see.
Oh, man.
But, those are some of the things that we're facing now. And it's come to a point, when we have these things, we have great black entertainers or educators or people who hold these roles and who we look high regard to. Mm-hmm. What do we do as a community to get behind, things that matter? When it comes and what I mean by that, our premiere episode, we talked about Black Panther, the great Black Panther, how great that movie was, how big it brought the community together. We came and
Black Utopia.
Yes, yes. We pushed it to break those box office records and things like that. What do we need to do to take that same esteem and push it towards other political avenues such as injustices and racial profiling or being having the cops called on us just for parking our cars? Yeah. How do we get that same momentum that we put behind our educators, our entertainers and our athletes that we can put into politics and just everyday life?
I think, especially in this country, a lot of stuff is ruled by money. And I think more than at any other time in our history in this country, I think we really have to start finding a way to put our resources together and actually invest it and actually push towards change. Because here's the thing: change doesn't happen, on its own. It doesn't happen organically. It doesn't happen because all of a sudden, oppressors want to have a certain level of benevolence or whatever. Change happens violently, or change happens financially. I talk to people a lot. People don't understand the impact of the Montgomery bus boycott and what that did in terms of changing how we were treated with the transit system. Even something as simple as that, and just the level of sacrifice that we had to make in order for that to happen. People today, they don't really get that. People say, "Oh, I'm going to boycott." We'll get online, we'll get on Facebook, Twitter, we'll say, "Oh, we're going to boycott this company." But you know what? And the reality is, a lot of times when people say they're going to boycott it, nothing really happens behind that. And I think, in order to make changes in this world, we can't resort to violence. We can't resort to doing what they're doing. We may feel that way. We may want to go out and beat somebody's ass and everything else. We can't really do that. And I think, more than anything now, we have to find a way to pool our resources and say, hey, we're going to enact change by doing this. We can't beg politicians to do their job. We have to form political action committees. One thing that I had talked about with the police, and it's kind of a touchy subject because it could actually have an unintended consequence. But I talked about indemnification, and what that is the government a lot of times will pay the settlements that are brought forth against police departments. So you hear about what happened with Freddie Gray in Baltimore, and hundreds of cases, thousands of cases across the country. A lot of times those judgments are paid for by the government because police are indemnified, against any personal liability anytime a lawsuit occurs or anytime a judgment is granted. And a lot of times that doesn't change the behavior because police officers, police unions know, if this happens, the worst thing that happens is he'll lose his job and he can go work somewhere else. And so I think we have to start kind of looking at ways that we can affect things financially. And one of the things I talked about with a lawyer friend of mine was, what would happen if government said we're no longer paying for the police officers' mistakes?